that, and that, and give me a minute. I could probably like make a thing that did this for me, right?
Probably.
Like turned everything off and on appropriately.
Yeah, but what's the fun in that, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. All right. Rich and Luke, episode 116. Say hello, Luke.
Hello.
All right. And we have a third voice, which I'm guessing most of the, well, I don't know about most of the people that listen, but most of the people that are going to be here live probably won't recognize or know. Anyway, we're joined by, I guess, username ZT Evans, Zach, if you like.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's keep it simple.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Zach is, I mean,
Old.
not like, yeah, one of the, an older-ish user. I have a hard time like calling you an old user when I still don't feel that I'm like an old user, even though I am.
You're older than me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But anyway, you were what season did you start?
My first player was in the season 31 draft class. So season 30 SMJHL was
Yep.
my first season.
So that would be
Summer of
2016?
2016.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Reddit Summer Draft 2016.
Yep. Yep. That was one of the
That's 8 years ago now.
quite
I know.
large Reddit classes, especially for its time.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it brought in people like Joe,
It did.
TDZ, I believe.
TDZ I think was the following summer.
Following. Yeah.
I know he I want to say it was the following.
Yeah.
Which would have been like 36 if
36.
I remember correctly.
Yeah, it had what, Priss, it had Toman.
Priss and Toman were season 31. Waters was season 31. Toad
Yeah.
Dragon was season 31. Rabid Sponge was season 31.
Got
Wally was
Deliverum.
season 31. Yes.
Insight.
Zune was season 31. Yeah, that's been like 3 or 4 different usernames.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You got Tweedle.
Tweedle was season
Tweedle? I forgot.
31. Waters, did I say Waters already?
Yeah.
Yep.
Corey
Okay.
Bears, 31.
Corey Bears Winnipeg
Don't
Jets
say it.
Legend was
Don't say it.
season
Okay,
31.
good. You're good. You're good.
You got Grapehead as well.
Grapehead was season 31. With
A lot
Detroit
of
Falcons
users.
Legend,
Yeah.
even though he never played a game. If you
You
know,
had
you know.
Zune.
Zune was season 31. Trying to think.
Slowpoke.
Slowpoke. Camping Killer's first player was season 31. Obviously, his second player was like the one where you quote
Hagen.
unquote got good. Yeah, Hagen.
Yeah.
But he was in season 31.
So, a couple players.
Yeah, there were a couple of names in that draft. Yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, and I'll get yelled at. Twills, Trevor Wilson was season 31. JY's Recreate was in that draft also, but
He had players before.
right, that was
Didn't
his.
count.
Yeah, that was his second ridiculously good goalie.
Yeah.
Yeah, good draft. Good draft.
Oh no, sorry, I'm messing with chat there with streaming stuff because the chat is not showing up. Something up, and I don't know what because I did not change anything. But that's classic. So Zach, what? All right, so earlier this week, I don't remember when it was. Maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that.
Sure.
I saw you chirp, which that's
Yes.
probably new as well for you. I
It
believe.
is new.
Yeah,
It
is new. Yeah.
Yeah, effectively just Twitter, but on site. Anyway, so I saw that. I thought that's weird. Because why would you do that if you did not have a player?
Why?
So then you went onto the portal and you saw the latest creates.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's something I did not expect at all. I thought you were done. Not to say like shame on you or anything like that, or
Yeah, how
Sure.
dare
Like,
you
it
return?
was just surprising, right? Um,
Yeah.
so why?
Yeah, why did you?
I think this has been my favorite question so far. I've tried to come up with a funny new reason each time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I believe I told one of the GMs because I want a tour bus full of old guitars and my own place on and my own star on Hollywood Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Nothing. Okay, cool. Um, I don't. I guess it just felt like a good time. I don't
It
know.
just pull you
We
back in the
It just
eternal
pulled me.
pull.
It's summer, like
End of
it's
summer.
summer, end of summer. Not
Got nothing to
a
do.
little too much free time on my hand. No hockey to watch. I,
Mm-hmm.
I admittedly part of it too was so I recreated in PBE about 8 months ago.
Oh, so you're on there.
So I'm over there, and that's been going fine. The player has sucked, but as far as earning and everything, that's gone fine. So
Yeah.
it's like it won't add too much to my workload because I could do the affiliate thing. I can, whichever way I go with it, I can do the SHL one or I can do the PBE one, and
Yeah.
it's not really. It just adds the mini PT and figuring out money, but that's another story. Um, it just I don't know. It felt like a good time. I don't. I wish I had a really good, captivating reason. I really don't.
It
Uh,
was just
It
time.
it
Time to
it,
return.
it was just time.
There's a portal now, easier to earn.
So
Clicking
that's
buttons.
I can't tell you how many times, especially in mostly QCC, a couple of other servers. I think Carolina has a time or two,
Mm-hmm.
but mostly QCC. I'm getting bullied all the time, like harassed. Like it's criminal how often
By
people are nagging me to recreate. And it's like I'll never.
ah,
And every time they do, they're like, "It's so easy with the portal. You'll love the portal." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So then I recreate, and I'm going through the portal. And I'm like, "Actually, this is pretty dope." I don't know. Maybe they were right. But it's really nice. I mean, not just with the player stuff, but the links to get where you need to go, and the way it just updates the checkbox after you've done it, and it's pretty slick. And then Luke messages me like, "Oh, wait till you check out the history part of it." And
yeah,
holy crap, because y'all know when I was active, like I wasn't quite Toman or Luke, but I was pretty nerdy about the history stuff. So going through that was incredible, and I really just scratched the surface. So that was fun. That was exciting.
yeah. If you see anything wrong, let me know. By the way, as well.
I
Uh,
did find one error.
yeah, just
That's
let me
fine.
know. Whatever's wrong, I'll fix it because I did it. I did all of it.
I
So it's
figured
like
you
it's
probably.
like 14,000 uh different instances of stuff for the achievements, and then however many draft shit that took a while as well. But
Right.
I'm the one that maintained it and built it as well. So if you see anything wrong, let me know. But yeah, no, it's definitely something that I really want on the portal. And it's definitely a labor of love to get it onto the portal because it really adds more depth to the portal, and being able to see like, oh yeah, this person won this, like when did he get drafted, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I actually kind of forget that it's there because having been around so long, I'm just like used to navigating the forum stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of
Right.
forget the history stuff's there. But looking at it, yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I was honestly surprised because I was curious like how far back you went for like the drafts and stuff like that. And yeah, it's got
Oh yeah,
everything.
everything.
It's great.
Yeah,
It's great. So
if
good.
there's anything that was on the forum, I got it onto the portal.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there? There has to have been some stuff that was like missing, right? Or is,
Yeah, like anything like IHF
oh
related
yeah, who cares?
before
Who
like
cares?
season 30 is shaky at best. uh or like some of the earlier awards in the SMJHL just don't have it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But everything SHL related, we should have, because people got pretty good record of that over the years. But yeah, no, it's It's definitely one of my favorite things, especially since I worked on it. And also, as older people go back, they're like, oh yeah, let me just go back to my season 14 draft class and see, you know, where all the users are at or whatever.
trying to think what else might be new, um, for Zach. Were you? I guess
Go ahead.
the changed the defensive awards.
I
It was
think
there
that
for
was.
that.
I think I was around for
Okay.
that.
You were aware.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was like really how long ago that
He
but
was in
yeah.
FHM.
Well,
Yeah, I've done it. FHM is not new.
well, yeah, no, that's. I thought that was a relatively relatively recent, but I didn't think that was more than like I don't know 15 seasons.
What, the Biscuit Award?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was season 47, season
Really?
46.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely thought it was more recent than that. I
No,
would have guessed like 50s.
no, it was in 46, 47 because
Okay.
Baylor Swift created that award.
Okay.
And then his player also won it the first year.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, very weird.
Very, very SHL.
Hmm. But yeah, that
Uh,
can be kind of the introduction to who Zach is and what he
yeah,
does.
yeah, yeah. That was pretty good, right?
And same profile picture as for like the last 6 years.
No. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Who
So
does that?
yeah, I know, right?
um, we got some questions. You want to go through those?
Yeah, we can do
I'm
that.
along for the ride. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
All right. Sorry. For whatever reason, I decided to navigate away from them.
Oh, good.
I don't know why. For no reason.
Mhm.
All right. First, God dang it, Sloth. I forgot about these. Sloth.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. He wants to know who our favorite breakdancer of the Olympics was.
Uh,
So I'll be
uh,
honest. I'll be honest. I'm gonna be real honest. I watched a lot of Olympics.
mhm.
I did not watch the break or breaking or whatever they called it. I know they didn't call it breakdancing, but whatever they called it, I didn't watch it. So the only thing I have seen is obviously the clip that went
Right.
viral of our friend from down under. So I think by default that's my answer.
Yeah, I've only seen the Australian breakdancers. So I have no idea.
I think not knowing it's unfair of me to answer. So ask me again in 4 years, Sloth. How about that? You see, because I think they're not doing it again, is what.
No, they already decided like 2021 that it wasn't going to be the next
Yeah.
one.
Yes. All right. And sickest move you could pull off?
I feel like I could do like the around the world thingy that they did.
So I'm just in a permanent state of neck pain, so I think probably none.
Mm.
Right. Does the sprinkler count? I don't know.
I think you could do the sprinkler. That would probably give you points.
Sure.
All right. And bionic arms or legs?
I feel like legs would be the best because
Oh, I feel the opposite.
isn't your knees go first?
Well, so it's funny because my answer is what I want versus like what I think is best. They're different.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want the legs because yeah, it's starting to be a problem. But I think the arms would actually be more like I would rather feel like I could get the arms, but I feel like I want the legs because one of my hips hurts all the time now.
Yeah, just
And
get the legs.
I just want the legs for that. What am I doing? Yeah.
Thank you for the question, Sloth.
Yeah. I hope that was insightful or whatever.
He probably won't even listen.
I don't know.
Sloth, if you listen to this, just ping me.
Like the VODs and like the YouTube videos get a shocking number of views. So
We're just popular, I guess.
yeah.
And then we got some Troy questions. Well, really just one Troy question. This is for Evans. He said, "Who's your favorite person on the season 44 Jets, and why wasn't it him?"
Look, I think there's one thing I've been consistent in my messaging from day one.
Day one.
And it is that, with all due respect to Troy, who is probably my second favorite person, maybe third favorite person on the season 44 Winnipeg Jets. My favorite person on the season 44 Winnipeg Jets will always and forever be the GOAT, Jason Visser.
Jason, yeah, I mean, how can you not?
Look,
it's either him or Flappy.
man,
Right?
gosh,
Forgot about Flappy, didn't you?
I forgot about Flappy. Now I'm sitting here like, where would I rank them? This is awful, because now I need to go to the portal, right?
Yeah.
And I need to look at who was on the season 44 Winnipeg Jets, because I'm sure that's a thing I can find on the portal, right?
Not really.
Oh,
Okay.
If they won a cup, then yes.
If they won a cup,
for
yes.
that season.
Sorry, yeah. If it's a cup winning team, then yes.
It is, yeah. The season 44 won the cup.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So then, yeah, you would have all the rosters. But if they didn't win a cup, then no.
Yeah,
not yet.
I've got it up on the. Ola Wagstrom was on that team. Oh wow.
Yeah, he was
Must have been a young Ola Wagstrom.
No. He was a call up last second.
Oh,
actually, why would he? He got drafted in 44. Why did he on the cup? Probably because he was on the threat. So maybe.
I think he did get called. I think he was a postseason call up. I could be wrong. I'd have to look into that. I know we did that in season 37 with Waters and LB. But I can't remember about season 44. I'd have to assume that was the case with Wagstrom, but I don't remember. Because that was a thing you did back then.
Yeah, you just called up everyone because who won one name on the cup.
Sure, exactly. Gosh, I had forgotten. Because obviously Flappy was GM.
Yeah, some great people in there.
Dude, Haz was on that team. Bears was on that team. Visser was on that team. Kilred was on that team. Priss, Nick Dox, Troy.
Got because his sister.
Yeah. Lil Manius was maybe I can't remember if that was his rookie season or a postseason call up.
Rookie season.
Okay.
I think. Actually, I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but maybe.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that was bonk.
I mean, still, yeah, bonk, exactly. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for Zimbayev Fever, because that was like the one good draft pick I made while I was co-GM of Winnipeg. Yeah, no. Man, memories.
But probably Visser.
But Visser's still probably the favorite. Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
Visser is probably the favorite, and Priss is probably second.
That's fair.
After that, I don't know.
Yeah, no, Troy's been great and amazing in the locker room. He also just won his rookie season. The cup.
Troy and getting carried to a cup.
Name better duo.
Yeah.
We will have him on next week, so we can bully him then.
Oh boy. Can't wait.
And then we got Shiny for the next questions. He actually has some pretty good questions, actually. Which I did not expect. I thought it would be like, something, hot dog sandwich anyway.
Sure.
Shiny says, how long do you think the SHL as a whole will last? That's
such a
obviously easy answer. It's going on forever.
Sure.
Realistically, probably, I think like another 5 seasons or 5 years. But it's just like, it depending on how much you can recruit and then who really wants to put in the work to maintain it all. It's been running for 14 years at this point, so might as well, get to 20. And we're not really stopping anyway. I feel like this would be like a good question when like recruitment's gone sour or like another Hamilton season 53 incident.
Right. I think, especially, it's weird for me to even consider that because,
Hmm.
and Rich, you can speak to this probably better than I can, but when I joined for the first time, we had 8 junior teams. 8.
Yep.
A single digit number. And now there are,
Double.
yeah, exactly.
16. Yeah.
16.
Back
Like,
back then, it definitely felt like there was an actual possibility, although unlikely, that it could just like blow up. But at
right.
this point, I think it's way past that, and it's far more likely to like slowly kind of just, I don't know.
It
I'm
would
not sure what it would
contract
look like,
before it went away. Right.
but
Like, if participation completely dried up, you'd see a lot of contraction before people finally just quit on. Like
Yeah.
when UMHL went away, throwback,
oh
there were
man,
only 6 teams to start with,
that
right? Or
actually
whatever it was.
did kind of like fade relatively slowly for what it was. Like
Right.
it didn't just disappear, which that could have easily.
Could have easily happened. So where this one is so far away from that
Yeah,
you'd have to go a long way.
You have to tumble really far.
You'd have to tumble a long ways to get to the point where people are talking about, is it worth even doing the thing anymore? I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it would take a while to get there.
Yeah. It would have to be multiple users that like really dedicated to the site to fall off,
Right.
which I don't think will happen for a while. Or with recruitment, if recruitment dies out, which I don't think it would.
or if Downer goes rogue.
True. That or Teddy goes rogue.
Yeah, yeah. Go full core lab and just start deleting stuff.
Then yeah, might as well just get rid of it all. Shiny's next question, because we're all GM and HOs, he says, what are some of the unknown stresses that GMs and HO members have to take on that most of the site users don't know about?
That's
Obviously,
a
as we
question
were
for
all
you.
head office members.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for head office, when I was a part of that, it was basically just like the little day-to-day annoyances that come out, like anything that needs to be solved right away. And then as a GM, there's not really any stresses generally, but like I mean, at least for me, I've been doing it for so long. There isn't really anything that like pops out. The only stress that I get is like, if the team's doing badly or going through a rough stretch, it's like, man, this sucks. Like there's some stress to turn it around, especially if you have some expectations as well. But those are pretty known stresses. I don't know anything about like unknown stresses. I feel like an unknown stress would be like if a GM or if a player decides that they want out, then that's just definitely an unknown stress.
I feel like most of the things that would be stresses would be things that like people could like kind of imagine or know about. So it's, I don't know. There's a ton that
Yeah,
goes
for
on
sure.
that most people couldn't at least guess goes on as a GM. I mean, HO is maybe a different story, but
Hmm.
because I honestly have no idea what they have going on. So.
And they don't do anything.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. That's what I meant. All right. I mean, I don't have anything simply because I have not really done anything outside of co-GMing a J team back when that we were like half the size we are so now. So and the draft classes in my particular stretch were very small.
yeah.
So and we didn't have picks, so there was no. Anyway. All right. What about? Do you think getting rid of the Thunderdome was a good idea, or do you think having a place where people can call others out or trash talk helps keep at least public and not private like Discord DMs?
Uh I think it was a mistake, but I also can get why they want to remove it. But I think there really isn't like a general way to call something out. Like, you know, people would be thunderdoming the awards team or the awards people for not getting the award stream out, and it's been that like by the start of the season, it's been that way for like 3 or 4 seasons. And it's pretty annoying when you have to. wait until like halfway through the next season to know if you won an award last season or not. So I feel like there's points where it's just like it's a call out method being like, hey, you know, why isn't this getting done? Is there a way to like, change it or whatever?
So I feel like it was like the ultimate wrong way to do things for them. If that's like what I don't know, because like you can do that in a space where it doesn't just immediately it's not immediately a free for all. Then like you know,
Yeah.
and that was my issue with it. Is like it's if that's what we need to be able to call people out or to call things out, I think it's not great. I was always very much against Thunderdome. I thought it was kind of a waste and unproductive generally. Um,
I think the thing that always bothered me with the Thunderdome, not that you're all, I agree mostly with Rich, but I think the thing that always blew my mind with it was that at least when I started, it was literally no rules.
Mhm.
Like anything that could get you suspended if you said it literally anywhere else on the forums or even Discord, you could say
Mm-hmm.
in there and it was okay. And that was mind blowing
I
to me.
think technically there were rules. I think technically at that time. I don't remember, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't remember for sure.
If there were, they were very blurred.
Yeah, and absolutely people treated it and assumed there was no enforcement whatsoever. But I feel
Right.
like technically there was like some standard of like no personal attacks or something like that. Like but it just no it didn't like I don't think generally it reached that level. It did occasionally,
It did occasionally.
but like yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
I don't miss that.
It was absolutely entertaining, but like I feel it was like I don't know far more negative than it was positive, especially for like in terms of like league culture.
Oh, for
I
sure.
feel like the culture we have now it doesn't fit.
That's also fair.
All right. Uh
Shiny
oh,
Event said,
okay, go for it.
who is someone on the site who has inspired you, someone you would call a mentor throughout everything you've gone, and someone who's just been there through the tough times for you. I would say for me, that person would be JY. I feel like for Shiny, it's also JY, which is funny. But I think for someone who taught me how to be a good GM and how to manage people and manage people in a way that made people feel included and be a part of a team, I feel like he was very important to me, into turning me into a really good GM and then to that same effect, a good person.
Yeah, JY's best known for making people
Being real,
good.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I love JY.
Who'd you say, Rich?
I got like probably a few. I think initially, and it's different too because like the way I approach the league is so different from how it used to be. But initially, when I
Sure.
first joined, it was a person who's not around anymore. Username was Ballerstorm.
Mm.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
he was like 100% like the person who kind of like took me under their wing and like really brought me along and got me super involved in the league. And like they were the kind of person who was like, that's what I want to be. That's who I want to be to the league. Now it's a lot less that. There's people that I like am more inspired by, but in a way that isn't like I want to be that, but like wow, that's impressive. But
Sure.
I'm more like I don't know comfortable in like what I am to the league or who I am in the league. But somebody like Seven for sure is like very impressive, and like I really admire like the way he runs Carolina in particular. Um, what else?
I'm trying to think back for me. I know one of the first people that I really, as far as like outside of my draft class, obviously, is somebody that what you would look up to or reach out to for advice or whatever. One of the first people I talked to with any regularity outside of my locker room or my draft class was Akamai.
Oh yeah,
There's a throwback for you, Rich.
yeah. She was awesome.
Yeah, because she was my updater in Detroit to start with. And I remember having obviously stupid rookie updating questions because I didn't know how to update. And this was before we didn't have, forget the portal, we didn't even have, because I remember for a long time, and now in PBE it's the thing where it at least has the tool, right, where you can insert the link and it does the math for you and spits out the code for you, that all you have to do is use the tool and you should never screw up an update. And we didn't have that then either. It was literally, all right, find the link, write the code, check your math, all of that. So Akamai was an updater at the time, and then she applied for one of the SMJHL code GMing job. No, she got the GMing job in, I think, Colorado, if I remember correctly. And I applied to be her code GM. I didn't get it, but I applied, and so that's when we really started talking more. But yeah, no, Akamai was great. Obviously, when I was in Detroit, like my GMs then were Dan Koa and Wannabe Finn. They've turned out all right.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Eh, um, trying to think outside of like that. I mean, obviously, if you're talking about the podcasting stuff from when I did that, then you can't. Obviously, we were all influenced, at least to a certain extent, by Slappy and Bonk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the gold standard at the time, for sure. I those are the ones that jump out. I'm sure, again, I'm forgetting somebody. It's been 8 years, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what jumps out to me at first.
Yeah. It's like again, I've got, if I wanted to really dig, I'm sure I could come up with a handful, but
All right, Rich.
we're not gonna spend a ton of time on
I gotta go, Rich.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys
No
can
problem.
continue.
Yeah, we'll finish
All
it
right.
off.
See ya.
Take it easy. All right. Let's see. What's one piece of advice people give to new users that you think is not actually that great of advice? Ooh. That's tough.
I definitely don't have a good. The funny
Yeah.
thing is, I what. So I'm gonna go on a tangent here, and then I promise I'll
Yeah.
answer
Oh
the
no.
question. This is my first time going through the waiver process. The waiver process didn't even exist when I first started, but I've always created in time to be part of the draft anyway, right? So this was all brand new to me. And being a waiver process, I went in thinking like none of the GMs would talk to me because either they'll just claim me, and if they're high enough in the claim order, they'll get me, or they won't, and they don't, or I didn't feel like there was a lot to have a dialogue about, right?
Mhm.
I got messaged by a lot of GMs. I mean, it was like draft level scouting to see, do we want to put in the claim for, are you going to fit? And I get it, but I just never thought about it that way, right?
Yeah.
It was not something I expected going into the process. One of the questions I got, I can't, I'd have to go back and see who sent it now, or actually I probably shouldn't, because then it might be. Now I'm giving away their trade secret, which is terrible, but whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
Was, what is something you wish you could go back, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit.
Yeah.
What is something you wish you could go back and tell you from the past about the league?
It's a really good question.
Right. And kind of my answer, like legitimate answer, was, man, I wish I could go tell like first, like ZT Evans when he was building and updating Zach Evans and playing in Winnipeg and doing various other jobs, like whether it was IHF co-GM or SMJHL head office. I was SHL head office for a hot minute, Winnipeg co-GM for a hot minute, any of that stuff. I wish I could tell that guy it's not that freaking serious. Oh, because I mean, you know how it was then. I mean, we'd get bent out of shape and have these knockdown, drag out arguments, and oh my gosh, about stupid stuff, about who won the DAR this season. Stupid stuff. Who
I don't know what you're
cares?
talking about.
Who
Listen,
cares?
that's one of my favorite things is, and it's not favorite things, but it's favorite things in an ironic sense of like it drives me insane. Every season, the awards nomination thread is like, there's at least one of like, oh, it's like, come on, like, like, I know, I get it, but
Right.
man, I wish.
Right. And I was absolutely one of those guys at the time. Absolutely one of those people at the time. I really wish I could tell that guy, calm down. It's and I wasn't even I don't know. You tell me. Like, definitely I had my moments, but I wasn't one of the super fiery ones. Like, I had the long fuse, but once it lit, right? I mean, it went big. But usually, for the most part, I was fine just being the happy-go-lucky, talk about it on the podcast and let it go guy. It wasn't. But no, sometimes I'd get really bent out of shape about some stupid stuff.
But
Never to the point of threatening to go after anybody with a chainsaw or anything, but not naming names, of course.
it's easy to though. I think, and I don't know, for whatever reason though, I do find myself at least in some at some level emotionally attached to the things that go on within the league. Maybe I don't know if that's probably not necessarily good, but it's also maybe not entirely bad either. But yeah, it's easy to let that affect you. I guess maybe the best thing is
Sure.
to not allow that effect it's having on you to then affect other people.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, the waiver thing. Shawnee's
I'm
actually,
seeing a lot of good. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of good comments in the Twitch chat, which is neat to
yeah,
see about that. And
uh,
I hope everybody understood. I wasn't like insulting the process
yeah,
by
no,
any means. It just caught me completely by surprise, in a good way, a
yeah.
pleasant surprise
I think
that people cared.
a lot of it also has to do with the fact that like there's at least some willingness of GMs to, and I guess you kind of were you kind of experienced it. Like it's not necessarily who is available to claim you that's going to claim you.
Sure,
So teams are,
that is true.
yeah, more likely to like do some level of scouting to see if like can we make a move to add this player and should we? Because
Right.
that's actually super common. Yeah, it's I think pretty common. That the team that's up for the waiver pick is not doesn't have either doesn't have room or he puts more value in a potential. I don't know, whatever.
I would love to see the look on Joe's face if he found out for all of 10 minutes I was a St. Louis Scarecrow.
Oh man, I know. God, it's weird to say, but like Joe's still around, right? He's still the GM in New Orleans, isn't he?
I was looking at that before
Is he?
the
It's
show.
insane because
According
like,
to according to the forum he is, which I know that is not exactly an exact science.
and he
I I
it's
hope that's up to date.
it's
But
crazy to me because like he and I hope this isn't like rude, but I feel like he barely exists. Like I could not tell you. Like I just don't see him. Like he doesn't. I don't see him anywhere anymore. It's strange. Uh, anyway, that's
it was surprising to me how many of the GMs are literally still GMs from I mean like my second player got drafted to Hamilton by Halsey,
hmm,
and Halsey is still in Hamilton.
yeah.
I mean, even some of them that aren't necessarily in the same place or whatever, but their names I know, like Wally and Ace, which he was the Winnipeg GM during the time of my last player.
Yeah, but
That's an older one, but he's been around longer than me.
he's actually jumped around a little bit as GM. I think he
I mean,
was. Well, you would have been around when he was the New England GM, I think, right?
yes, yes, that
Yeah,
would be around the time of like my second player,
yeah.
because he recreate when I got drafted to Winnipeg. he had actually at that point he was on Winnipeg, but not active with a recreate goalie that fizzled out because nobody liked doing goalies. I don't think that's changed
Listen,
either.
it seems like so much fun, man.
And not long after I signed in Winnipeg or got drafted to Winnipeg, he recreated with, I guess that would have been Tiggle.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
I might be missing a page somewhere in there, but that would around then would have been when he recreated, and obviously been much more active since then. But yeah, Nike. I mean, Jesus, that's an old one. Luke. Mentioned Camping Killer was in season 31. Toman was in season 31. Yeah. So many names that are GMs there. I'm like, I know you. What are you still doing here?
Yeah. It's all right. What about single most fond memory from your time in the SHL?
Most fond memory. Oh, I love CUA saying I missed Wally. I almost had to intentionally miss Wally just to annoy him. I hope he listens. Love you, Wally. Most fond memory.
I guess I don't. So my answer is like a very specific thing. It's not like
Sure.
So I'll answer if you want to think for a little bit.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
In my very first season, season 25, it was actually season 24 technically, but I was season 25 draft class in the SMJHL. We had a little group in Kelowna that was hey Hills. Yeah, this is your question. Very small. Actually, it wasn't small, but small. I think relative to what draft classes for a team may look like now. There was a handful of us in Kelowna. Again, this was like at the time, for its time, was a big draft. And then I came in as an undrafted free agent after the fact, which added to it. So it was kind of a big class. There was like 4 of us, I think, that did like joint media, kind of like as our players,
Yes.
like in the big, it was like joint pressers where we take questions and answer them, and we did this all like kind of together in like I think we had a shared something. I don't remember if it was a Google
Like a
document at the
Google Doc
time
or
or
something like that.
yeah,
Right.
something like that. I really really enjoyed that. Um, that's probably the most like single fun thing I've done in the league. It's like the kind of thing that like is cannot be recaptured because it's like
Right.
a combination of like first first thing in the league, first team, first everything. So it's like
Right.
yeah,
Everything's still fresh and exciting, and
yeah, one of those
yeah,
kinds of things.
right. You could do the same project now with all of your favorite SHL people, and it just wouldn't, as the kids say, hit the same way.
Kind of
Right.
it's kind of what the you I think you probably at least in at some point popped in for the top 75 thing. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
yeah
I obviously I was inactive at the time, but I
yeah.
was. Let me tell you, I was popped in as an understatement. I didn't comment on a lot of the posts, but I was checking every day, and I do mean every day, to see, was I going to make the cut? I didn't think I was going. So here's the funny thing, and we'll go on this tangent.
Yeah,
It's a podcast. We're filling time anyway. We're trying to make money here. I'm broke.
yeah.
I cannot tell you how many times, especially when it was in like the 75 to 50 range, I'd see a name. I won't name names. I'd see a name and I'm like, well, surely I'm on the list if that guy made it. But then like the next day, another name would pop up. And I was like, that person's 58th? There's no way I'm on this list. The next day, I don't know. I think I got a chance.
Yeah.
Eventually, it got to a point where it's like, okay, I'm not. Zach Evans, definitely not a top 20 SHL player. I hope went away very quickly. But there was that early on, there was like the back and forth of, I don't know, maybe not, maybe,
The
maybe
biggest
not.
trick with that is like there's like especially when you start getting low-ish, 60, 50, whatever, on, through, whatever. There's so many players that kind of fit the bill and then trying to figure out that was so I was involved in that. I'm not sure if you were aware of that. It was
Sure.
like it was me, Luke, I think Finn, yeah, Joe
Mm-hmm.
K was in there, Red, Toman. I feel like I might be missing somebody. I don't know. But we had a pretty nice spread. But it's like, man, there were some pretty widely varying opinions on some. I don't know. It's like
I could see that.
so, and the scoring system also really makes it so like, when you get in that range, it's so nitpicky of like I
Right.
don't. I again, my player made it, but I don't think he belongs. Like I don't. I actively do not think he belongs in the top 75. I think you can make a case for top 100.